Ms. Pistol, we live in a tough time, and I don't believe that you have been before this committee since the miraculous but also instructive taking down of Osama bin Laden. And the Chairman knows that as often as I can comment on the intelligence community, the Navy SEAL, the broad national security team of the President and President Obama, I do so. And it goes without saying that I likewise thank the men and women of the Transportation Security Administration and TSOs who I have joined with as being on the front lines. And we say that because in the materials that we've since, or that have since been made public, interestingly enough, from the encampment that Osama bin Laden had, it seems that a lot of materials, public materials, focus on transportation. They focus on rail. There's no doubt that there is an attraction to aviation. And as you recall, after 2009, the Christmas Day bomber, the Secretary of Homeland Security made around-the-world trips to begin to talk about the agreements that we had. I'm going to share my thoughts with you very briefly, and then the Chairman is going to call on another member, and then I'll have a line of questioning along the tough climate that we live in. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have begun the very important process of drafting legislation for the TSA, and I welcome our witness today, who has already been welcomed, Administrator Pistol. TSA's scope of responsibility is broad, and its mission in securing transportation against terrorist attack is critical to the nation's overall homeland security efforts. And I believe that there is a common agreement on this committee between myself and with the leadership of Chairman Rogers. We work together. Over the past several years, this subcommittee has evaluated cargo security on passenger planes, passenger and baggage screening technology processes, security at foreign repair stations, general aviation, the registered travel program, and the administration of TSA's programs for surface transportation security. We understand and support a layered approach to security, whereby if one security protocol fails, there will be others to mitigate the terrorist threat. And I remind you, in my opinion, Mr. Pistol, 9/11 was where the overlay did not work. There was not redundancy, and therefore we found ourselves in this horrific condition. As we move forward in this authorization process, we must not forget this basic homeland security tenet: redundancy, overlay, and I've got your back. Furthermore, it is important to remember that our last line of defense, the final layer against the terrorist threat, is not technology but people. These people are our Federal Air Marshals, who have been authorized to protect the cockpit and secure the aircraft cabin in emergency. These people are the flight attendants who in just the last few months have subdued several unruly passengers in separate in-flight events, and who have consistently asked for required flight attendant training. These are the people we must invest in, and authorizing criminal investigative training for FAMs and recurrent advanced self-defense training for flight attendants. Our pilots, including the Federal Flight Deck Officer, participants are critical. Behind the hardened cockpit doors authorized after the 9/11 attacks, pilots not only are operating the aircraft but providing yet another line of defense. We need to ensure they have the resources in the FFDO program to support their mission. And outside the aircraft, our people on the front lines are the transportation security officers who screen 2 million passengers a day. And for these TSOs, we need to afford them excellent training and career advancement opportunities to complement the collective bargaining framework. Administrator Pistol, when you decided and moved quickly to alter the screening techniques and call them enhanced screening, I went out to my airport, one of the largest in the world, and certainly one of the largest in the United States, to stand alongside of the SFD there and watch our TSOs as the public travel through. To be able to ensure, first of all, the confidence of our respect for their process, to ensure that we wanted them to be professional, and also to watch the traveling public accept the fact that we live in a different time. It does not mean that we diminish and are unconcerned about civil liberties and civil rights, about the inspection of elderly and disabled and children, but it does mean that we have to work together. Speaking of people, Administrator Pistol, I understand from my staff that we've received some of the information I requested on TSA's executive level diversity, but it may be unbeknownst to you, it was incomplete. We will be working with your office to get the exact type of information we need, and we thank you for the first start that you've made. Mr. Chairman, I know from my discussion with you that we share the same commitment to securing our nation's transportation systems. In particular, we have discussed the importance of focusing on securing mass transit and other surface modes of transportation. I thank you again for your commitment to working with this side of the aisle so that we can approach these issues in a comprehensive manner, and I certainly hope that together we can look closely at my legislation on surface transportation so we can find common ground. We had broad bipartisan support for our TSA authorization bill in the last Congress, and I hope you will look at some of those provisions. Might I also say, Mr. Chairman, that your concern and interest in canines is well placed, because as I've traveled, I have noted from all perspectives, whether it is in the deep bowels of some of our South and Central American friends looking at the issues of drugs and the overburdensome actions of drug cartels, or whether it is in assisting the traveling public, or whether it is actually bomb detecting, canines can be very effective. And so I look forward to working with you on that issue, as I hope that we will focus on the needs of surface transportation security and include that issue along with others in this year's measure. I'll make just a final point as I close and say that I'm looking forward to working with you. I hope also, this is for the whole Department of Homeland Security, that we will unabashedly buy America. And I will discuss that further as I proceed in my questions. But I also ask, Mr. Chairman, unanimous consent that a statement from the National Treasury Employees Union be inserted in the record. With that, I yield back. Thank you.